I've been waiting since I was a kid for the government to tell us what they really did. Roswell crashing in the desert sand, bent waters lights over English land, Battle of Los Angeles back in '42, searchlights shining on something that flew. For 80 years they laughed and said we're crazy, but now the files are open and the truth is blazing. Thank God for Trump, he's letting it fly. MAGA nation watching truth light up the sky. More proof every day, it's coming out clean. UFOs and UAPs, it was never just a dream. From the Apollo missions to the moon so bright, they're dropping documents in the broad daylight. Yeah, the cover-up is crumbling, can't you see? America's finally getting free. We got NASA transcripts talking about the lights, jagged fragments tumbling through the blackest nights. Nazi salsa stories from the Black Forest line, FBI files dropping, it's about damn time. They hid it for decades, treated us like fools, but Trump said release it all. We broke all the rules. No more gatekeepers, no more lying games. The people want the truth, and we're screaming out the name. Thank God for Trump, thank God for Trump. He's letting it fly, letting it fly. MAGA nation watching truth light up the sky. More proof every day, more proof every day. It's coming out clean, it's coming out clean. UFOs and UAPs, it was never just a dream. From the Apollo missions to the stars so high, they can't hide the secrets no matter how they try. Yeah, the cover-up is crumbling, can't you see? America's finally getting free. Roswell, bent waters, and old LA skies, we still want the answers they've been hiding from our eyes. But day by day the files keep piling up tall. The greatest country on earth deserves to know it all. No more shadow government playing hide and seek. Trump's tearing down the wall so we can finally speak. Thank God for Trump, he's letting it fly. MAGA forever underneath these freedom skies. More proof every day, more proof every day. The truth is pouring through, the truth is pouring through. And brother, I believe it's all coming home to you. We waited generations, now we're standing tall. The greatest disclosure this country ever saw. Yeah, the cover-up is over, let freedom ring. God bless America, and God bless our King. Yeah, the truth is finally flying, and it's about damn time.
All right, here we go. All right, hello everybody. This is the Sights and Sounds of Earth right here on Starship Adventures, broadcasting worldwide on YouTube, which is the world's largest broadcast platform, and we are transmitting to you tonight over a piece of glass the size of a piece of your hair. It's absolutely amazing. I love everything about this new technology, and it may kill us one day, but I'll probably be gone anyway. So, hey, it's fun. Anyway, this is the Sights and Sounds of Earth. Again, my name is Ian. I'm glad you guys are here tonight. Thank you, everybody, for being here. We're going to get this party started. I got a few things, kind of some neat things I want to show you guys tonight. Maybe a little bit of show and tell, no big deal. But I thought this would be kind of fun. I thought it would be an interesting little treat to show you guys. But before we get to that, no, I'm serious. You gotta wait. Let's see here. Let me get that back there. Okay. Above me, we got Fox. Above that, I got 3 storm chasers across the top. Of course, they're going to go into commercial every so often. Not a whole lot I can do about that. I'm monetized, and so it would be very inappropriate for me to run any kind of software that would negate someone else's profit. So I skip them when I can. Let me just put it that way. But I don't do any. I'm not going to. I'm not going to be a hypocrite like that. Anyway, that's just my opinion on that. Okay, let's see. So right above me is Fox. Above that, I got 3 storm chasers plus 2 more down the middle. We got a hell of a lowering here. 2 or 3 of these guys are on this particular storm right here. Look at this jumbled up mess. Is there a couplet? Is there 3 couplets? I freaking don't know. I can't tell. It's a little crazy. We do have 4 storm chasers out in front of this thing. Let's see who's this. Freddie McKinney. I don't have Freddie anywhere, I don't think. So what I'm going to go ahead and do is we're going to make these a little smaller so I can get 3 in here. You know, one of the more difficult things on this show is to decide what's important and what gets screen space. Is this guy eating a Whopper going to be worth the screen space? Or do I keep the other ones bigger? Anyway, there we go. All right, so we got lots of storm chasers out there. Why is this not lining up properly? Oh, for Christ's sake. I really hate the way this program works with stuff like this. Anyway. I want you to be able to see the guys' names and stuff. There we go. Well, that got most of them in.
This is how you storm chase. There you
go. Okay, there we go. Now you can see everybody's names. Okay, so are you guys talking about the Enchilito? Oh my God, I went and got 2 last night, just like I promised. After my tooth had finally quit hurting really bad, and I'm like, I need 2 more of those Enchilitos. I drove my ass over there at 11 o'clock last night, and I went around the drive-thru, and the lady's like, I've never seen you this late. I'm normally a day customer. And I said, yeah, well, you got Enchilitos. The deal's off. I'm going to come a lot more now. I found them to be about the same size as before, but every place makes them a little different. Some of the people are more generous than others when they're making your stuff. But I found them to be fair. Yeah, the black olives have been gone for a while.
Have to replace that. The front windshield,
There you go. They are so good. I don't know what it is about that particular recipe. I know it's the same 6 ingredients that are in every single one of their. It's their same red sauce, their same yellow cheese, their same beef, their same bean, and their same flour tortilla. But there's something about the way it is in an enchilada. It has a different flavor.
we would not be able to do this. We wouldn't be able to do this without you guys. You guys are obviously the backbone of everything that we do here. So we're very, very thankful for you guys. Chad, everybody that's listening to that, watching the free videos.
Really, taco time, huh? I've never heard of it. We're starting to get, what is it, Del Taco or something? It's a new one. We're starting to get down here, showing up. And they're supposed to be the rival for Taco Bell down here. But we also have Moe's Southwest, which is a little bit of a step up. It's good. But I'm a Taco Bell guy. I love Taco Bell. I love their sauces. And anyway. So, tonight, I want to show you guys something that many of you in your whole life may not know even exists. Yes, it's a magazine. I know that you don't see these much anymore, do you? This is something that is only done in certain areas of the country. And you may have never lived somewhere that does something like this. It's pretty cool. It's a hurricane guide. These are put out by, that's the TV station I work for, Wink. These are put out by Wink. It is a hurricane guide for the year. And you're probably wondering, what the hell is that all about? Well, remember, when the power's out and the internet's out, this book still has everything you need to know. It has everything from what to do when we're 5 days out, all the way to the end of your recovery process at the end. It's an amazing thing. There's even a few, there's even a pull-out map that you can use if you're old-fashioned like me. Look at that. There's actually, look at this. They give you a map in here and everything. Hurricane season's a big deal down here. And these came out about a month ago, and they're everywhere right now. They're in all the supermarkets. They're all over the place. My company's the only one here putting one of these out. The other company, they put out a digital one. We put out this in digital and in print, and you can pick one up. Why is it important to get it in print? Because during a storm, you may need to reference this and not have electricity. So it's good to have this. What has it got in it? Well, a lot of ads, of course, because that's how we print it. But all the ads are on topic. They're all Shutter ads and ads for things that you would need during a storm. This one, this page, the very first page is debris cleanup and how debris cleanup works, and that's an ad. That's why it's in the front like that. But there's a bunch of stuff here. Disaster legal services. You know, you don't think about stuff like that, but you may need legal services 5 days after a storm. And believe it or not, there's attorneys' offices that step up, and that information is on here. All the different, these are all the different disaster recovery services that are in here. And of course, Generac. If you're gonna put an ad in here, it might as well be for a generator, right? Look at this. This is the table of contents. It's literally 72 pages long. It's like a small phone book. What's really cool about this is here it talks about preparation. It's an entire article written by one of our meteorologists about the hurricanes and what they do and all that. So what's really cool about this book, though, is that my company puts this out for free. Here, this explains the Saffir-Simpson scale. Look at this. Comprehensive flood map for my area. Yeah, Isn't that pretty cool?
It's like extending.
I mean, literally. Let me tell you something. This is accurate.
Look at your mesos.
My mom is in a B flood zone,
You guys have a
and she had water up to her light switches.
I guess we don't know.
There's the team. But anyway, I just wanted to show you guys this. I don't know. Let me know in the chat. Does anybody have a hazard guide? Because that's what this is. That's what these are known as in the emergency management business. A hazard guide. And it's not an all hazards guide. They have those too. We have an all hazard guide that our EOC used to put out. I don't know if they still do it. But this is a specific hazard guide for hurricanes. Although there's a lot of good information in here. But there's all kinds of, like, if this was your first time here, you would want to get this and read it cover to cover. There is articles in here about what to expect, about how scary it's going to be. Let me tell you what, when there's 120 mile an hour winds blowing outside, and you can hear shit hitting the side of your house and the windows that you've got boarded up, and in my studio that I've literally got strapped down with 500-pound truck strap, ratchet straps, and you hear that debris hitting the house, and there's this strange sound that many of you will live and die and never hear. You can hear it sometimes in tornadoes, and you can also hear it in hurricanes, and it's a roar. It's actually, I can't simulate the sound. It's more of a feeling than a sound, but it's a roar. And it talks about all that kind of stuff in here. It's going to sound like the end of the world's coming up the street, all right? It's going to sound like the end of the Langoliers or something. And you just have to know that this is going to happen, and you have to make sure that if you stay, that your house can survive what's coming. As we know, a lot of them didn't. 2/3 of the structures on Estero Island, Fort Myers Beach, were gone. Many of them, they didn't even know where they were. It was incredible. So I just wanted to show you guys. Hey, Carlotta, I'm just showing them. I'm showing them the hurricane guide. Let me know. Do you guys have a hazard guide in your area? You have tornado guides. That's interesting. I've heard that there's places, big cities and stuff, that do have hurricane guides. That's a good idea.
I'm gonna text him right now and see if he gets back.
Utah brush fires. I'll check that. It might be something I can cover. The only guide here is don't go in Detroit. Oh man. No, I get it. I get it. Yeah, the beach took it really hard. But anyway, look at this. This is all phone numbers for all the different services in Charlotte, Lee, Collier, Henry, and Glades County. And this is all the shelters, every single shelter, where it's located. Safety concerns before, during, and after a storm. There's that tyrant. I won't say anything else. And dangers of electricity. It talks about down power lines, how to deal with that. How to prepare your boat for the storm. How to prepare your home for the storm. Getting what supplies you need for the storm. If you're in a hurricane area, see if they've got one of these for your area and get it. Sometimes they have it in PDF and you can download it too. And that way you save it. You don't need the internet to see it. This is great because you don't need anything to see it but a little bit of illumination. I just wanted to show you. I think it's a neat thing. I think it's a really cool thing that we have here. A publication, almost 80-page publication that's put out every year by my company to help people be ready for the storm. And it's really good. And it's slap full of all the advertisements for everything you need. Every advertisement in there is shutters, it's generators, it's hurricane supplies, it's disaster cleanup, it's dry services, it's everything that you need before, during, and after a storm. Even the commercials are themed to what the book is about, which I think's cool because it makes it more like a full reference manual and less like a magazine. Yeah, yeah. I heard about your travel plans, Carlotta. That's interesting. Detroit, man, once the proud Motor City, now a liberal bastion where people run shooting everybody in the streets. It's a shame. It really is. Now, Trump's bringing some of that work back, but it's not going to come to liberal states. I think that's something people don't understand. Okay, Trump's bringing back the jobs. These tariffs are bringing back the jobs. They are. Our unemployment rate's the lowest it's been in 50 blessed years in some places, in many states. And why is that? Because he's bringing the work back. However, in many cases, they're not going to move into a union state. They're going to move into a right-to-work state like Florida or Texas. And so we're bringing the jobs back to the U.S. We're just not bringing the jobs back to Detroit and all of these blue states. And I'm not talking shit about your place, dude. I mean, I understand. It is what it is. We all live where we live. I lucked up. I don't know how I lucked up to get here. I hope you can get out of there and get down here with us soon. But, yeah, Detroit is one of those cities where they need the factory workers to come back. They need the factories to come back so many of them can work in them. That was a factory town. Nobody built more automobiles than Detroit, okay? And it's almost like Milwaukee and beer. The name is synonymous. I mean, it's just one of those things. So what happened? Unions. $80 labor. Why would you? It's cheaper to buy the metal in China, have China build the car or build the parts for the car, which is how they normally do it, and then pay to ship them all the way across the world, all the way around the world. It's still cheaper than paying union rates and dealing with a damn labor union. Labor unions used to cause huge disparities. Their people would be heading home from work after making $70 an hour to turn a wrench, and then treat the guy at the 7-Eleven like shit that's making $7 an hour. I hate stuff like that. And I'm not saying that, you know, those guys worked hard. Maybe they got in, but no, not with unions. You get in if you know somebody. You get those jobs if you're family, if you're friends, if you got to be friends and family. So it's not fair. And so what's happening is, what jobs are moving back? Many of them are moving to red states. Also, we've got a lot of stuff moving from blue states to red states. I've got an article. I got two different articles today that kind of touch on this, that actually go through this. And basically what's going on is there is a literal mass exodus going on, an absolute mass exodus from California to Florida. They're coming all the way across the country. And now Tesla just went public, and Elon Musk became the world's first trillionaire, and the left hates him. The left hates him. I love him. He's the best entrepreneur in the world. Rocket science genius. Why would I hate that? But the liberals, they hate him because he's rich. Anyway, he is now a trillionaire. He's moving his whole company out of California. He's moving all those millionaires he just made out of California. He's moving everybody. They're gonna go somewhere else. I think they're coming here. And And so what Gavin Douche Newsom is doing is he's literally driving away the people that pay the absolute top 1 or 2 or 3% of the taxes. I'm talking the top 3% that actually, okay, the top 5% of the people in California pay 60% of the taxes. Top 5%. So when they say they're not paying their share, that's horseshit. All right, number two, they're running all these people off. The people that are paying the bills, the people that pay a lot. You know, I make a measly little bit of money. I pay a little bit of taxes on it. It's over with. But in California, they got a state tax, remember, on your wages. If you make $10 million a year, they're getting a cut of that every year until you move to Florida. And that's what's happening. So who are they replacing these people with? People that don't pay taxes. People that don't have social security numbers. People that work under the table and don't pay government for anything. And people that sit in our ERs and use up all of our doctors. It just doesn't make sense. The whole thing doesn't make sense to me.
And then as soon as that happened, it was just operation. Weird snake. Like a weird snake that like a rattlesnake? All the way back in there.
Yeah, you got to watch these liberals. They will move into your state and start taking over. And next thing you know, the Somalis show up with their Leering Center.
I was going to say something, but never mind. I'm not going to. At this point, I'm thinking about hedging towards like Colorado Springs. That's what I was thinking. That's exactly right. I had my mom with me.
Look, I'm a capitalist. I don't care how much the boss makes. I mean, a true capitalist doesn't care how much the boss makes. I'm happy that he created the business. And if the business does really, really well, he deserves to be very, very rich.
Is that it seems like every storm the last like week.
It doesn't bother me a bit. Sorry.
Really insane inflow, really insane outflow.
Well, yeah.
It's not. Well, yeah.
The other day, obviously, this is kind of like that, except for you moved
There was a
else.
5-minute stretch drive following it.
Same here. Well, that's why we ended up trying to go north because we couldn't go south. We couldn't see anything.
Yeah, I don't care. A masterpiece. I don't, like I said, I don't, it doesn't bother me what the CEO makes. I hope he's rich beyond the dreams of avarice. I hope that he gets everything he wants. He's created a business that's employing thousands. He's making people rich. He's living the American dream, and he's doing it with capitalism. And
Yeah, it's some good.
look what else he's doing. He's making some of the best-selling automobiles in the country right now, and they're electric. And he's also got a space program that's successful. They're going to send people to the moon. He's doing all kinds of stuff.
The front windshield is what I'm most. It's not
So
even like this
why would I not like him? I don't care how much more he makes than his least paid worker. That doesn't equate. I don't care. And it's and I say that because he makes what he can make. The more successful he becomes, the more he can make. That's the way it works. And if he doesn't pay his employees enough, they quit. That's how it works. You don't force people to pay people more money.
I guess we can start going.
The good people will leave, and the message will be heard. That's capitalism. If your quality drops, your people quit buying your product.
All right, we'll probably do the same.
If you treat your employees like shit, they leave. These are just realities of business. It's capitalism. I hope my boss makes a lot more money than me. He deserves to. He started the thing. He built it out of nothing. He put his own blood, sweat, and tears. He didn't take a paycheck for the first 8 years it was in business. He deserves to be rich. And now look, he's employing all these people. So I'm a capitalist. I think it's a good thing.
Well, holy smokes, Chad. Oh, iPad's, I think, dead.
Steve, I agree with you on the work ethic. I do. Yeah, every generation has gotten worse. The greatest generation was probably the greatest generation, and then from there, it works its way down. It does, and each generation is raised by the parents of the last generation, and we've seen this decline in a lot of different things, including child behavior, and being spoiled.
Probably time to start trying to get that shit figured out. Wow. Well, what a day, chat. What a day. Well, guys, I think
Yeah, that's the thing.
honestly,
These people took a lot of risk.
we may end up just wrapping
They took risk of a lot of different things to get where they got with these companies.
getting on this windshield
I know just from my broadcast company,
calls and talk about VIN numbers.
the people that own my broadcast company, privately owned. And I love it. I want to work for an entrepreneur that owns his own company.
Jumpstart on the windshield. Tomorrow could be a big
And I like that. We're a huge company with 280 employees or some shit.
I also would like to pick up a 360 camera tomorrow.
I don't care what my boss makes. As long as we're all working and the station's doing great, we got brand new boards, everything works great. So that's how I look at it. That's how an entrepreneur sees it.
Like the year bin, you want to fix the car, vehicle bin, and then the medical bin.
Well,
Yeah, I don't know, you know.
pick up a 360 camera tomorrow. That one was
The
honestly
neat
done
thing
by
about
the
AI
done
is it's going to make your labor worth a lot more.
it probably would have.
I know that sounds crazy, but what you're going to find in the next 5 or 10 years, and I've listened to several futurists talk about this, what you're going to find is in the future you'll only have to work 10 or 20 hours a week to make enough money to live. AI is going to do this. It's going to revolutionize our whole world. Robots. Robots, just like in iRobot. Except hopefully they don't turn red and try to kill us all.
Stop. We would not be able to afford to do this, be able to replace our windows and all this stuff. So you guys are what keep the wheels.
Yeah, if we can put a man on the moon with a slide rule,
Yeah, who's
then wait till you see what we can do with artificial intelligence.
but a huge W to everybody in the chat that's supporting us.
I could just raid the storm of it.
We could rate you, Garrett. Let's go. I just rate you real quick.
Yeah, they can hang out with us.
Okay, well we still have to make some phone calls and things here, so they might have to be.
They can mute it.
All right. So yeah, I just wanted to kind of show you that in a little hurricane guide. I thought it was cool. They came out really nice this year. And if your area is prone to something that where they have a hazards guide, you should get that and just throw it in the drawer at the house. So you have it in case, well, I don't know, the end of the world happens.
We're gonna be on that here shortly. Don't you worry. Don't you worry. But yes, love you guys, and we'll be catching you all tomorrow for
Hey Victor, what's up, buddy?
and hopefully with some new glass. All right. Well, good night, everybody. We'll see you on Stormwater Media Stream.
Well, Steve, I hope that with time, with a short amount of time here with AI, I'm hoping that we can make some more medical breakthroughs. I'm hoping that we can find better ways to do things, and hopefully we can keep people fit. Because I agree with you. I mean, I work for 3 or 4 clients. I do work on YouTube here every day, plus working at work. You know, so I work a lot, and I'm still overweight because of what I eat.
Let me see.
I couldn't imagine if I just sat around and did nothing.
By the wires running for now. All right, everybody. We'll butt up, guys. Stormwater Media.
Okay, so let's see what else we got going on here.
Whoa.
We are still watching this storm here on the radar,
Yeah, whoop.
and still tornado warned. Nope, it's not tornado warned anymore. This is the only one that's tornado warned, and I don't really see anything there.
Oh, no, no, no.
That's
no, no.
weird.
Flight appointment tomorrow.
Do not.
Look where this is. This is way over on the coast.
I can find one. Oh, wait.
Just so you guys can see, look at this tonight. This is our swath tonight.
Yeah, it's a long time.
It's all through the middle of the country. I don't know if Carlotta's still in here, but you guys are under a threat 1 out of 5 tonight. Not too big. But yeah, we're mainly looking at this area right here, and this, of course, is where we got it going on right now.
Yeah, so you guys like my shirt, I know.
Look at that.
Yeah,
That's why I can't believe we haven't seen a
See you
tornado yet.
again, yes. Is this the raging canes in and out stream? Yes, it is, Michael. It is definitely the case of the raging canes in and out stream.
There's our 3 storm chasers right there, and they're on the left right there. That is a hell of a couplet. It's weird.
so that your phone gets the mic so that they can hear you clearly back there. Oh, okay.
Oh, wow, Deploribus. I hope everybody's all right. No, I don't trust the medical field either, so... Yeah. All right. Let's see what else we got here. Meta is now offering paid training for AI data center jobs. See, everybody was worried about AI taking your jobs. Here's a way to go get free training and get a job working at an AI data center, and you're probably starting at 20, 30 bucks an hour. I mean, you know, Meta's new America's Workforce Academy promises free skilled trades, training, and job offers, but the AI data center boom still raises local concerns. The local concerns are just the stuff we've been talking about. I don't want that in my town. Idiot. Okay, so AI may feel like something that lives inside your phone or your computer, but behind every chatbot, smart assistant, and AI image generator sits a massive physical network. Those systems need buildings. They need power. They need fiber lines, cooling, equipment, and crews who know how to build them and maintain them safely. That's where Meta's new America Workforce Academy comes in. Meta, the parent company of Facebook, Instagram, and WhatsApp, says it will invest $115 million in the program's first year to train people for skilled trade jobs tied to AI infrastructure. The pitch is easy to understand. You don't need a prior experience. Meta says qualified participants can get tuition, airfare, lodging, and a daily stipend covered during training. It's free. The program also promises a job offer to graduates. You have to sign a contract. You have to agree to work for 6 months at a job or something, but they're going to train you for free. For someone looking for a new career that could be a big deal, you know, this could be a big deal. It's still, there's a bigger question behind all this. As big tech races to build more AI data centers, communities across the country are asking what these projects will mean for their electric bills, their water supply. We've talked about all this, and much of what we are hearing out of this is fear. It's fear. People don't want a data center in their town. What do they think it's going to like stand up like a Robocon or whatever, and like, what do they call them, things like a transformer? Do they think the building's going to stand up like a transformer and walk across their town one day? I mean, why are they so afraid? And it's just irrational. People are just irrational. I don't want data centers in my town. I just don't want data centers in my town. Okay, you're irrational. Yeah, and that's another thing. I think these data centers, when people fight against these data centers, you know who's doing it? Foreign actors. They would love nothing more for us to stop building data centers. You got to remember, we're on the edge of the sword. We have to stay on the edge of the sword. We cannot let these other countries get ahead of us in AI. We got to stay right with them. China is right with us right now. We cannot let them get one day ahead of us on AI. And that's why it's so important to get these damn politicians to keep their God-blessed fingers out of this stuff. All right? Quit trying to regulate AI. It's not going to work. You're going to make a huge mess, and you're going to stifle our growth at an important time when we need this to be cutting edge to compete with China and the other countries that are out there trying to use this stuff to not only hurt us, to defeat us, to steal from us, and eventually to beat us. And we can't let that happen. And the only way we can stay ahead of it is to have complete unfettered access to it and build as many of these damn things as we can build. I don't hear enough people talking like I'm talking right now, but this is a dose of reality. Do you want China 5 years ahead of us on AI? I mean, look at what Iran's been doing with these drones. We need to get into this AI. We got to fight drones with drones. We got to be able to do the things that 21st century warfare requires of us. And we have to build the data centers necessary to keep us on that cutting edge. It is so important. I cannot believe people want to regulate this shit. Why would you? No one else is. Why take the most responsible country in the mix and then regulate them out of the game? Because that's what would happen. They would regulate us out of the game. And then China would be way out ahead of us. Good, deplorabist. I'm glad to hear that. You never know what a tornado goes through. Where is this tornado? I see the couplet. Got storm chasers right up in that shit. Where is it? I think Vince might be deploying a balloon. Some of these guys got balloons. Some of these guys got rovers now. Some of these guys just take a balloon and they put a camera package on it and they just send it up like a kite almost as far as the string will go, and it gets like an aircraft picture of what's going on. And other people now are using actual larger drones now to try to intercept these tornadoes. I don't think they're trying to obviously go into the tornado, but they're trying to, get these really great 3D shots of these tornadoes. It's kind of amazing. What else was I going to talk about tonight? Let's see here. Let's talk about the reflecting pool at the mall. Not my mall, our mall in Washington, D.C. The Federal Mall where between the World War II Memorial and the Lincoln Memorial. That's called the Reflecting Pond, and it's called the National Mall. And Donald Trump paid to have that fixed, and we spent all this money and we fixed it and made it look nice. And CNN's been mocking him since day one on this, the Communist News Network. And he just wants it to look good. I've been to D.C. 3 times. And let me tell you, every time I go there, I walk up to that reflecting pond and I'm like, that's a nasty mess. That's a nasty mess. This is the most important body of water in the world, and it's sitting here and it looks like shit. It's got this like shit growing on everything and mold and bullshit. And I'm like, why can't we clean this up? Nobody ever wants to clean it up. That thing should look like a swimming pool. It should look like a swim. I don't care if they got to install frickin' pumps. I don't care what they got to do. It should look beautiful, all right, and not look like a bunch of shit. And so Trump paid to have it fixed. It's all fixed now. It looks great. And the left is fucking vandalizing it. Sorry, I can't help myself. The left is vandalizing our reflecting pool on the mall. The one that Jenny walked through and said, Forrest and Jenny, Forrest. You guys remember the scene? That was the reflecting pool. She probably got a disease from walking through that shit. I'm just glad they cleaned it up. And now they're out there vandalizing it. They're putting chemicals in it to make it look dirty. They're putting bacteria, and what was the other thing? Oh shit, I can't remember now. It was some kind of living things out of the ocean that they were putting in there to mess it up. Well, they've arrested some people for this, thank God. Not enough. They arrested an Olympic canoeist. It's been accused of vandalizing the iconic reflecting pool in Washington. David Hearn, 67, who represented the United States at 3 Summer Olympic Games, denied the accusations that he vandalized the new refurbished Lincoln Memorial reflecting pool after being arrested by the U.S. Park Police on Saturday. Hearn told the Associated Press that he only reached into the pool because he wanted to examine the peeling new coating that had been put onto the pool. And he only briefly touched a chunk of it that was still attached to the side of the pool. Then he let go shortly after the park worker told him to. What he was doing was he was trying to make more damage. He was trying to make it more damaged than it already was. He's a piece of shit. I'm a curious citizen, Hearn told the outlet. I reached down to see what it felt like. It was very rubbery. Dumbass. Now he has a date to appear in court next month. Hearn was previously arrested by the U.S. Park Service Police 30 years ago. What a coincidence! He beat that charge, of course. Maybe he won't beat this one. He carried the Olympic torch through D.C. at one point. He had a storybook career, and he did have a history with the Park Police. Goes back 3 decades. In 1996, the year the Potomac River turned violent, as intense heavy rains pushed the water to a terrifying near-record flooding level of 60,000 cubic feet per second, authorities immediately issued an emergency river closure where the government saw a deadly hazard. The Olympians saw an irresistible surging playground. Hearn took his whitewater canoe straight into the raging rapids. The U.S. Park police officers quickly spotted him from the shore. They shouted over the roaring water, ordered the Olympian to paddle over to the riverbank. The moment Hearn's boat touched the federally controlled shore, officers swooped in and arrested him. You know what? Why? Why? If someone wants to go do something stupid, let him go. Let him go. If what they're doing is immensely stupid, do we need them? One of the biggest problems was, in 1908, if you reached down and picked up a rattlesnake, you died. There was no bullshit. In 1936, if you walked out in front of one of the new automobiles, you were killed. There's no bullshit. It ain't like that no more. It's not. And I think one of the biggest things we've done wrong as a society is not to let the stupid die. We should allow the stupid to perish. It makes sense if you think about it. Our aggregate intelligence would go up. If someone's dumb enough to walk out in front of a bus, let them walk. Let them walk. We didn't need them. No, no, no. If they walk out in front of a bus, we'll rush them to the hospital. We'll sew them back up. We'll even do it for free because they're probably illegal anyway. And we'll sew them all back up and we'll fix them all back up. And that way they can go walk in front of another bus. That's the problem nowadays. There was a time in this country where the lazy weren't tolerated and the stupid were allowed to die. That's what's wrong. Everybody lives now. Everybody lives now. You know, it sounds crazy. And I don't believe in a lot of this, but I'm just saying, back then, if your child was messed up, they killed it. We keep them all now, which is okay. I actually like that part. Okay, I think everybody that's born needs a chance. But I'm just saying, drawing your attention to the fact that back in the old days, 200 years ago, 1,000 years ago, if your child came out fucked up, they killed it. That's simple. That's the way it worked. Okay? We don't do that no more. So we're keeping all the children, which, like I said, I'm okay with that part of it. But as far as the stupid part, that part I have a problem with. We need to stop saving people who do stupid things and let them meet their own demise. Am I being too rough about this? I mean, this is why we get people that sue McDonald's because they spilled coffee in their own twat. This is why we have this stupid shit with the left right now, where they're parading around in blow-up animal costumes, being anti-law enforcement and hating our president. This is the kind of bullshit we have to deal with right now. Am I wrong? They're putting up these God-blessed crosswalks all through my town. And they're going off constantly. If your ass doesn't know how to cross a road, then don't cross the road. What the F? Seriously, sorry, Mom. I don't mean to be yelling at you, big girl. Seriously. They're putting these things everywhere. And they come on and start blinking, and everybody has to stop. And they stop traffic for a mile. And then this bum comes pushing his shopping cart across the road. I'm like, how did that asshole get priority over 300 people that are paying road taxes? How? I want to know. Same thing with bicyclists. If you're a bicyclist, you're borrowing the road. It belongs to us. We pay for it. Gas tax. Insurance tax. Okay? We pay tax out the ass to own our cars. We pay a tax when we buy them. We pay a tax when we fuel them. We pay a tax when we insure them. You're on a bicycle, you pay nothing. You pay nothing. So you're borrowing the road from me. So when I'm coming, kindly get the F out of my way. Okay? Because I'm the one paying the bills. All right? Ooh, I'm on a rant. All right. Woo! I never wore a bicycle helmet, never owned a bicycle helmet. I used to ride 40 miles an hour on that bike, as fast as my little legs would go. And I fell off it 10 times, and I crashed and burned, and I broke an arm one time. Makes you tougher. All this coddling and bullshit today. It's part of the problem. If people need a blinking light and all the traffic on an 8-lane highway to stop so they can walk across the street, them and their little service animal or whatever, their comfort dog, can walk across the street. That's bullshit. All right? They should be able to walk across the street. There's a median in the middle. You wait till there's no cars coming and you walk into the median. And then you wait till there's no cars coming this way and you walk. Christ, I could teach the course. Look, it's not that difficult. But see, we keep saving these people. We keep putting up crosswalk blinking signs for these people. And when I say these people, they're every color, every sex, every nationality. They're just dumb. There's a good portion of them that are white trash Americans. They're just dumb. And the dumb need to be able to walk off the cliff in peace. A brain bucket. See, Dom, I don't believe in all that regulation. That's just not me. I'm not saying you're wrong. I don't believe in a bunch of regulation. I would never get a permit to ride a bicycle. That's just dumb. Yeah, you don't have to wear a helmet on a motorcycle here either if you're over 18. If you're 18 or over, you don't have to. Look, a helmet should be your choice. You want to know why? If you have a helmet on, your neck's going to break and you're going to be paralyzed for the rest of your life. If you don't have a helmet on, your brain is going to be exposed and you'll be dead. So, what would you rather have? I'd rather be dead than be a quadriplegic breathing through a tube. So, forget about it. I don't wear a helmet. Now, I wore a helmet as a firefighter. That's different. 20 years I wore a helmet. You better believe it. Lambert, I believe that as well. But I also know that when I was a firefighter, these guys that wore the full helmets, they survived the crash. It was always a bad outcome. The neck was always ruined because of this big ass effing helmet. Think about it. You get into a wreck and you've got this thing that weighs 8 pounds around your head. It doubles the torsion forces on your neck during an accident. That's why most places have just given up on it. It's like, you're right. It should be your choice to choose head, neck. It should be your choice. It's your head, it's your neck. Do I believe in seatbelt use? That's a good one. Yes and no. I believe there should be an absolute law and rule that the driver of the motor vehicle must wear a lap and shoulder restraint. I don't believe anybody else in the vehicle needs to wear one. I think they should. I wear my seatbelt no matter what. Even when I don't have to, I wear my seatbelt. I sit in the back seat of my family's car, I wear my seatbelt. That said, I don't believe in seatbelt laws beyond the driver. Why the driver? Well, remember, I taught EVOC. I taught people how to drive emergency vehicles. All right? I was a specialist when it came to avoiding accidents and code 3 responses and things like that. And I'm telling you guys, that's just, you know, that's the way it works. If you're strapped into the seat as the driver, you hold a 5 or 6 or 7 times better opportunity to regain control of the out of control vehicle. You hit a bump, you go off the road, you go through a ditch. If you don't have a seatbelt on, you're in the back seat somewhere. But if you've got a lap and shoulder restraint and you're wearing it properly, no matter what happens to that car, you are still in control. You still have the wheel. You still have the brake pedal. You're still pushing on that brake pedal, trying to get some joy. Okay? So I do believe in requiring a seatbelt for the driver only. The rest of you, it's your face. If you like hamburger face, okay, don't wear the seatbelt like some kind of moron. But Do I believe that the state needs to pull you over and write you a fine because the only thing you risked was your face? That's it. And you should have the right to risk your face if you want to. The driver, he's responsible for everybody and the car and the damage it does. So we're going to make him wear a seatbelt because that will prevent further accidents and prolonging accidents and things like that. Yeah, you got to maintain control. You're absolutely right. And believe it or not, even after you hit something, staying in control of the vehicle is important. Even if the steering's gone completely out, keeping your foot on the brake should minimize some additional damage. Maybe you have some steering control left, and you can steer it away from other vehicles and away from pedestrians and things like that. So it's important for the driver to remain in control of the vehicle. But I don't feel that way about everybody else. Well, Matt, that sucks because normally they give warnings for the first few months. They must just be some real pricks. I'm pro cop, but I'm not much on their attitude lately. Let me just put it that way. I think cops have gotten way too loose with the Bill of Rights. I do. And I also think cops have gotten way too loose with the shitty attitudes all the time. But other than that, I still have to support law enforcement because we need these guys. Jesus, take the wheel. Isn't that what you say just before you die? I'm gonna tell you guys. I'm gonna tell you something. I lost my faith for a while. I'll tell you guys a story I've never told publicly. I lost my faith one time. It was difficult. I was sitting at the station one day on duty, and we got a call for a crash at an intersection where the crashes are always really, really bad. Now, there's a light there now, and there's signs, and there's everything, and it's not near as bad as it used to be. But it's an intersection where people would miss the stop sign. They would drive right through it. And the traffic going the other way was speed limit 60 miles an hour. So they could be doing 70 or 80 miles an hour. It was a 2-lane highway. We got a call for a crash. I was off duty, but I was hanging out at the station, as we did all the time. So myself and Bob took the engine, and we followed the squad. And on the way there, they kept calling us and telling us it's really bad. There's multiple injuries. We already had help coming from 2 other departments. We had 4 ambulances on the way. It was a bad crash. We come pulling up there. We were the first due. We were the first ones to arrive. And I pulled up there, and there was people laying everywhere. I mean, it was just people laying, and they were all still alive. And I went over to the car to see who was in the car, and I recognized the woman as a neighboring department's chief's wife. And she was in bad shape. Her car was crashed all the way to the radio, if you know what I mean. And their daughter was strapped in the middle. She's in critical condition. Their son was strapped in the right seat by the right door. That's where the car hit. He was destroyed on impact. And she knows he's dead. This was the worst scene I had ever seen as a firefighter at the time. And to this day, it bothers me. And you could tell I get emotional. And after we got all the patients in the ambulances, ambulance after ambulance, they were lined up. They were all trauma alerts. all 6 survivors, trauma alerts. 3 of them pinned in the vehicles. We had to get them out with the jaws of life, the hearse tool. That woman was praying for her son and her daughter. And the man, the chief from the neighboring department, arrived on the scene during the rescue. He handled himself well. Very professional man. What really, I think, what changed me that night, that evening, was I was assigned the task of getting that boy out of that car. And it really effed me up. And I get him out. Me and 3 other guys, we pry the door off. We get him, and we get him in the bag, and we get him zipped up. And we're carrying him through this ditch. And I slipped, and I fell. And he went down in the mud, and I went down on top of him. And the other fireman fell on top of me, and the other fireman fell on top of us. And we're all down in the mud, and we're all crying. And as I got up out of the ditch, I put my hand on the bumper of the car. And there was a tag there that said, "Jesus is my co-pilot." It took me 10 years to get my religion back, to love Jesus again, to love God again. I became mostly like a science atheist. I knew there was something there, but it wasn't God type of thing. If God was there, he'd have saved that little boy. But you learn in life. You learn, and this was in 1996, I think. You learn in life that this is all a test. God puts us here, but we live in our own free will. They can't always save us. Dying and moving on might have been the journey that little boy was on. His sister had permanent injuries for the rest of her life. I don't even know if she's still alive. Destroyed, little body. But maybe that was her destiny. I mean, maybe that was the lesson that her soul was here to learn. Maybe that was the strife. Strife builds character, not just for you, but your soul. But it took me a long time before I could even look at church or a Bible or a cross. I'd drive by churches, I wouldn't even look. I love churches now. I love Jesus. But it took me a long time to get back there. A long time. God never stops loving us. But we have to learn in this life. I believe in, I know I'm not orthodox. I do believe in reincarnation. I believe that we live our soul comes back over and over. The evidence of our soul coming back over and over is incredible. There is so much evidence out there, and it's all starting to come out. But I also believe in Christ, and I also believe that what we do here is important. And I believe that sin is bad for the soul. And I believe that we need to believe. We have to believe. I still, to this day, when I see that tag on the front of a car that says Jesus is my co-pilot, to this day, I get a shudder down my body. And it brings me back to that moment in time where I'm covered with mud. And I've got that little boy in a bag. I lost my faith. I did. Oh boy. God loves people in crosswalks too. And if they walk out in front of my car, he can have them now. How about that? Oh my Lord. I'm sorry, guys. I didn't mean to get emotional. I've never told that story to the public, or even to my supporters. So I'm sorry if I lose anybody, but that's what happened to me. Look, being a firefighter is not an easy job, and the things you miss are never the things you think you're going to miss. But sometimes the things that bother you are the exact things you thought were going to bother you. And this is an example of that, where I knew that day they called in people to come work with us, what they call critical incident stress debriefers. They called them in, and they talked to us. They sent us all home. They called in a second crew. I was technically off, but they called in a crew for the two guys that were on. We had a fairly small department. Still not a big department. And they sent us home, and we came back in the next day, and we all sat around and we talked about that crash, and we talked about everything, and we all sat there and just cried it out. And they let us go back on duty. It's one of those things, you just have to live through it. You have to survive it. I think the fact that it was a fire chief's son, I think, may have caused this even more effect on me. The fact that it was just a horrible scene. They were all kids except that mom. It was four like 18, 17, 16-year-olds. There was a dog in the other vehicle. It was the least injured of everybody involved. We got the dog. We brought it back to the station, and we kept it until they could send somebody to get it. But I'll never forget that. It was just, what a terrible day. Well, that comes from the heart, all right. That comes from the soul, if you want to know the truth. There's things in your life that will happen that change you. It could be a little thing that changes you a little, or it could be a big thing that changes you a lot. And sometimes you lose your way and you got to find your way back. And that was the time I lost my way a little bit. I finished my work at the fire station. I was there another 6 years. And I retired out with honors. I mean, there was nothing, it didn't affect my career per se. I guess. I mean, you just dealt with the mental part of it, I'm just glad that my guys and I could talk. We could talk. The other shift supervisors and I, we could talk. My chief and I, we could talk. And we did. And we talked through it. We got through it. They brought in people to help us get through it. Oh, boy. I can't believe I just told that story. I can't believe I got through it. I need nose spray now. John, yes, he likes me. He loves people in crosswalks. As long as they don't walk at the wrong time. If they walk at the wrong time, then they get to see him. All right. So, Major League Baseball. Okay, here we go. Douchebags, right? Major League Baseball. The commissioner is now come out and said they're not going to fine these players. They told them you're allowed to put, I forget the word they used, social activism. You're allowed to put social activism messages on your hat. Okay? Social activism messages. So the guys started writing Black Lives Matter. They started writing racism sucks and things like that. Okay. Some of the guys wrote, "I love you, Mom." And they got in trouble. Other people wrote things like, "People are racist." That was okay. One person wrote, "Happy Father's Day, Dad. I miss you." Because his dad's dead. He got in trouble. You're not allowed to put anything on there except the Black Lives Matter or the socially charged words of that social movement. Well, they reversed their decision. And I will say thank you, MLB. Thank you, Commissioner Manfred, for reversing this atrocity. Because this is bullshit. All right? I should be able to put "God bless America," "I love Jesus Christ." I should be able to put anything I want on my ball cap. If you're letting people put "racists suck" and Black Lives Matter and all that bullshit. If you're going to put that, then you got to be able to put that. And so finally they've gone back on it now, and they are going to allow Giants players to put biblical references or anything like that on there. By the way, before this, the cross was specifically banned. However, the Black Lives Pride or the Gay Pride logos were both approved. Cross? No. Bullshit. They weren't fined or disciplined, but they made a big deal about it. Why can't a man put "I love Jesus" on his shirt if he wants to? Especially when the next guy over's got "white folks are racist" written on his. They tried to make them all wear pride shirts, gay shirts, with the all the striping and coloring, and these guys said no, we're not going to do it. What are we doing? What is how you have sex with your partner got to do with pro baseball? I mean, I could think of about 3 dirty jokes, but we'll leave it on the table. What has that got to do with anything? Why would we make straight baseball players dress up in gay shirts to support gay people at a baseball game where most gay people don't watch sports? The whole thing's just stupid. What are we doing? And then they wanted to suspend them. They were going to forfeit the game. It's a big mess. Why? Because they won't wear the gay shirts. They're not gay. Why do straight people or even gay people, why do they have to support the gay thing? It reminds me of that Seinfeld episode where Kramer went to go run in the whatever it was. It was a run for breast cancer or something. I forget. And he goes to the run, and he's running. He's working. He's doing it for them. And they're like, "Here's your ribbon." He says, "No, I don't wear ribbons." And they freak out and send him away because he won't comply with the rules and wear the ribbon. And this is what this reminds me of. People should not be forced to support things. It's a baseball game. What does it have to do with all? I don't understand what it has to do at all with
MMIW G2SLGBTQQIA+.
My God. There's not enough innings to go through all that. What does baseball have to do with being gay? Other than baseball's a little gay. What does it have to do with being gay? I don't know. I hope they file complaints with the Equal Employment Opportunity Commission, for instance. Come on. I mean, that's it. I perfectly support gay people. Do your thing. Don't get any on me. I don't understand what the problem is with that. But it's not good enough for people to be accepting. It's not good enough for people to be inviting. You have to completely live their lifestyle or they're not happy. I don't understand it. LGHD TV Plus. That could be like a new streaming service. It's all gay programming all the time. LGBTQ. There we go. It's all gay barbecue all the time. Gay French fries, gay baked beans, everything's gay. It'd be fun. John, I don't know. I don't know if you're being serious or if you're being satirical, but oh my Lord. If you don't see the humor in what I'm talking about, dude, I'm sorry. All right. I mean, do you believe that every single place a person crosses a road, we should have a set of lights that cost $435,000 to install and $12,000 a year to maintain and operate? That, I mean, is that what we're saying? Or are you giving me a hard time? Because I don't know. Look, when I say if they're too stupid to look both ways, let them get run down. I mean, I'm not necessarily serious, but I am. I mean, what the hell? Why's that become, I don't know. Why's that become incumbent upon us now to put these stupid crosswalk things everywhere? I don't like it. I don't like it. I think it's ridiculous. We still got a couplet on this one. Oh, we lost Freddie. That's Brandon. That's Freddie. That's Adam. You see if he's putting out a stream. Nope, he's out too. Alright, so that's what we got right now on that. Thin out the herd, basically. Yeah, I mean, I'm serious, but I'm not. I mean, obviously, I'm not saying if you see somebody in a crosswalk, you should speed up. That's not what I'm saying. But what I'm saying is, do we really need people in our society that repeatedly forget to look both ways before they cross a road? I mean, that's all I'm saying. It's a Darwin joke, whatever. All right. I agree, William. I absolutely do. Like I said, I have no problem with their lifestyle. I think it's great in a way because we have a lot less children when gays all get together. But that being said, you know, I don't know if you noticed, but the LGBTQ thing taking off like it is just another of about 5 different things that are causing a reduction in our population. But we are seeing a marked population reduction. At this point, we are not replacing ourselves. If we stop all illegal immigration, which we've just about done, we've stopped probably 70-80% of it. The only growth in numbers that this country was seeing was from illegal immigration. When you take that out of the equation, our population is shrinking. It's shrinking. So in other words, it's a long road to extinction, basically. And all the fear that they put in us about overpopulation and not being able to have enough food, it was all bullshit. All we had to do was become a technological society, and people stop having so many babies. You know why people were having babies? Because they needed farm help. That's literally 150 years ago. A farmer would have 9 kids. It's called labor. Nowadays, people that are smart, entrepreneurs, work hard, take risks, they're not having any kids. None. Yeah, I was just letting Carlotta know you guys have a slight risk of some severe weather tonight as it moves through. Yeah, I don't think anybody should be forced to advocate for something. I just don't. You know, if I want to wear a rainbow shirt to support gay people, then I will. If I don't, I shouldn't be forced to. Especially at a place I work. I mean, I would have an issue with that if I went in and my boss, Jeff or Jim or one of the guys I work for, came in and said, here's the new gay jersey we need you to wear here at the radio station. I would have a problem with that. I would. I just would. I mean, I'm not like homophobic. I don't care if people think I'm gay. I don't even care about shit like that no more. I don't even care. It's just the point. The point is, it's you, and you don't want to advocate for something you shouldn't have to. It's that simple. Deploribus, you're correct. A lot of times, with a lot of different groups of people, equal rights is not enough. We reached equal rights, and now we want more. And that happens to be, as far back in history as you go, that's kind of the way it is. All right. What else do we got, guys? Let me see if I got anything else in the news pocket here. Nope, I already talked about that. Ugh. This is a fun story. Millions of Brazilians had a War of the Worlds moment over the weekend after the country's national emergency alert system sent them a message about an unfolding alien invasion. The bizarre incident purportedly occurred early Saturday morning at around 1:30 a.m. Oh, this sucks. When residents in several states were rousted from their sleep as their phones unexpectedly lit up with a rather troubling text. The message, emanating from the country's official emergency alert system, meant to warn of weather-related concerns, was labeled extreme and ominously declared, "Protect yourself. Alien attack. Humans, we have arrived." That's what it said. Fortunately, because the message was sent when most recipients were asleep, the unsettling announcement of an aggressive alien arrival largely sparked bewilderment rather than panic, especially since there were no signs of any UFOs on the attack. The following day, it was revealed that hackers had somehow gained access to the system and sent several strange messages, including the extraterrestrials' arrival, which mystified millions. Throughout the public, mostly made light of the situation online, authorities were less amused, stressing that the security breach exposed vulnerabilities in the system that needs to be addressed immediately before any further shenanigans will occur. So there you go. What if you got an emergency alert from the EAS tonight, like we get for the missing child alerts or the hurricane warnings or whatever? What if you got one of those right now or tonight, let's say at 1:30 in the morning, you got one that says alien attack, take cover now? What would you do? I mean, I'm serious. What would you do? I mean, I would call my news desk at the station. That's what I would do. But what would you do? Yeah, throw in some likes, guys. Our numbers haven't been that good tonight. Probably because I got a little emotional earlier, maybe. I don't know. Don't be surprised if there's an X flare today. New sunspot 4473, which is just coming around the limb, just arrived from the far side of the sun. It's crackling with solar flares. The strongest so far almost crossed the threshold into an X flare. This M7 flare on June 21st caused a brief shortwave radio blackout over the western USA. Ham radio operators may have noticed loss of signal at frequencies below 20 megahertz around 1915 Universal Time. Flares from this sunspot have been increasingly intense over the past 48 hours. If current trends hold, an X flare is likely today through tomorrow, tonight and then tomorrow. There's also another large far side sunspot that's going to be coming around in a few days. So we may have an active period ahead for solar activity. So that's kind of cool. Yeah, at least go look outside before I go back to bed. Oh, really? Dom, I don't know if I saw that. Yeah, I think, Heath, if you just came in, you just missed a hell of a story, buddy. I told the story of the time I lost my faith and how I got it back. So go back 30 minutes later and yeah. All right. Yeah, just go back 30 minutes when we're done here. It's going to be at like the 1 hour mark. All right. Let's see here. What else do we got? Okay, let's talk about the tropics. There is no systems in the tropics. There's nothing we're really looking at. I ran the models earlier, and I don't see anything that's sticking out in the Euro or the GFS. As we get a little further in the season and there's more to talk about, I will start having a tropical segment every night where we put up the maps and we run all the models, but there's just nothing to run right now. It's very early in the season. We have burned off the A storm already. We did. We had the A storm. So the next storm is the B storm. Lambert, you know what's interesting, buddy? I haven't found any much protesting going on at all. There was a little bit Saturday night, but I didn't go on Saturday night. But then Sunday night, Monday night, last night and tonight, I found nothing. I don't find anything going on. Matter of fact, I'll take a peek. I got it right here. Let's see what's going on. Protest. Yep, I don't see anything. Nope. No, and the guys that normally cover the protests are playing video games and stuff, or showing other things, or they're not on at all. So that tells me pretty much. Yeah, I mean this is supposed to be live, but they're showing Charlie Kirk talking. Pretty sure that's not live. Yeah, so I don't know what's going on. But yeah, I don't see anything. I don't see anything. There's protests in Kenya, in Drat. I don't know what that is. Albania, there's a protest going on there. Wow. Okay. Yeah, my theory, my theory is it's multifaceted. Generally speaking, when there's a reason for something, it's usually several reasons for something. Um, Number one reason, I think that the protests have kind of ended for right now. Number one reason, I think the left has protest fatigue. I do. I think the left has reached a point where they're tired. They're sick of it. They've been doing it every day, and their blow up costumes worn out. Um, I think that I do. I think this is a part of it. That's number one, protest fatigue. Number two, I think you're correct. I think there's actually less of a push right now than there was, say, a month ago, because things are going better in Iran, and the gas prices are going down, and this ICE thing is just continuing, but it's all gone kind of undercover, low profile, and so we don't hear about it much anymore. And none of the protesters have run over any ICE agents in the last couple weeks. So basically, that's it. It's just lack of activity added to the protest fatigue that we're already seeing. And I think this is it. I don't think even that guy, there was a guy for a month was down at the protest every single night in Portland. There was one night he showed a single protester out there for like 3 hours. He's quit. He quit last week, end of last week. Hasn't been out there since. And so, why? Well, there's nobody out there. There's nobody protesting. How long can you protest ICE when ICE is they're doing what we sent them out there to do? And they keep protesting people doing the right thing. How long can you protest someone doing the right thing, knowing that it's not going to change, at least not for the next 2.5 years? Yeah, I do remember that one on the 15th. I agree. This is somewhat of a foothold situation. It really is. They want to fundamentally change the country. We want to keep it the way it is. This is a foothold situation. They're literally going to try to outpower us, outnumber us, outgun us. Yeah, it sucks. I wrote a song a while back about our father warned us. Our grandpa warned us about the commies, and that they would come through the schools and they would win us over by indoctrination. And that's exactly what's happened. Yeah, I mean, no president has been in as much danger as this one has. But everything from ricin attacks to ambushes at golf courses to snipers on roofs to charging into events with guns. No president in history has had this many people trying to kill him. Hey Heath, yes, it is getting better. Still just a little swollen, but getting better. I don't think it's infected, only because it's getting better for 3 days now. It's getting better. Generally, if you need an antibiotic, it's not going to get any better. So I'm hoping for the best. I think that it was just really bad, and it's caused a lot. The swelling in my lips has almost completely gone down now, and it's getting better. It's feeling better. Yeah, there's commies everywhere. I mean, you got Commie Memdami running the Big Apple, the biggest city in the world, or at least in this country now. It's no longer the biggest city in the world. Hey, Incognito, what's up? Hey, Picklebird. Welcome in, guys. Yeah. So anyway, yeah, but oh boy, I went on a rant earlier. I was on a rager earlier. You guys might want to. I don't. I never recommend going back and watching the show that you didn't miss or the part that you missed. Tonight you might go back. They might find it interesting. I don't remember D Beard. I don't remember. Yeah, the Euro. Look, the UK's gone nuts. They've gone batshit crazy. They're arresting people now for Facebook posts. Yeah, they used to keep it quiet. They used to keep it quiet. They don't anymore. They don't give a shit. The left doesn't keep it quiet no more. They just come right out with it. They don't care. I don't know why that ticker quit. There it is. I don't know what happened. It quit. But it's going now. I still got it. I'm still using this in the studio, so it's a little awkward, but it works. All right. Let's see here. Yeah, I'm feeling better. Not perfect, but better. I'm not sure. Okay, so yes and no. Yes, UK Prime Minister Keir Starmer announced his resignation today from the party. He stepped down as leader of the Labour Party. However, he will remain Prime Minister only until a successor has been chosen. So, yeah, he's stepping away. He cited mounting pressure from within his own party after poor local election results and internal rebellions. There's a front runner, Andy Burnham, makes Starmer the sixth UK Prime Minister in 7 years, highlighting ongoing political instability in Britain. But that's what it is. He stepped down from his party, which means that they'll now go ahead and move to replace him. Um, yeah, he's strange. Yeah, I mean, he's technically still prime minister for a while, but yeah, he has uh, left his party, and therefore he will be leaving his position as well soon. Um, Boy, it sure would be nice if we could do 2 likes per video. I mean, I guess what difference would it make? I guess in the long run, but all right. All right, one last thing I want to talk to you guys about. Let me let me get it loaded up here. All right, what I wanted to show you guys something. I found this that was sent out by the Cars group up in Charlotte County on their emails, which I still get. And I thought this was worth sharing with everybody. But Old Glory has gone through a lot of changes over the years. I thought this was really cool. These are all the different flags that have represented our country in one way or the other. And I just thought it was really cool. You got the rebellious stripes. That was the colonies, 1767, 13 colonies. The next one there, the Hulbert flag, 1775, 13 colonies. The Forester flag, 1775, 13 colonies. These are all the different flags of the colonies. And there you go, the Grand Union flag, Washington's Cruiser Pine Tree flag, the Culpeper flag. These are all the different flags of the different 13 colonies. Isn't that really cool? The Betsy Ross flag there, and the Easton flag, the Green Mountain Boys flag, and then we get down to the sovereign states. 1777, right here. These are all the different flags for all the different colonies. And then finally, we get to the 13 sovereign states. And then we go to 17 with the Indian Peace flag. And then finally, down here you can see the Star Spangled Banner, which has represents 18 states. That was in 1813. 1818, representing 21 states. 1818, 21 states. I guess there was two different ways they made that one. And then there are 34 states in 1861. 1862, 34 states. 1867, 37 states. 1877, 38 states. 1912, 48 states. And our present 50 star flag for today, 1960 to current. I saw this and I'm like, I just want to show this to you guys. It's really cool. You talking about the stars and bars was actually the battle flag, yeah. Let's see here. Let me go ahead and get out of that. I just thought that was really cool, guys. I love all the different flags. Isn't that crazy, D-Beard? Interesting. I'll have to read some more on that. All right, guys. Oh, Heath, I don't know. I've gained a lot of respect for the Cuban people. I do. I got friends that work that are Cuban. I got a neighbor that's Cuban. They're great people. They're Republicans. They're staunchly right wing. They work hard. They have respect. And I love them. So I'm good with whatever we want to do with Cuba. I know one thing. If we liberated Cuba, and I'm not saying we should do this, but if we were, in a perfect world, if we liberated Cuba, Florida would actually lose population. Many of the people that live here in Florida want to go back. They want to go back. If you made that a 51st state or a territory, or at least just had a new government that's not communist. You know how many people, how many 100,000 people or something would leave Florida and move back to Cuba? That's their homeland. They want to live there. No one, you know what, when you start talking about foreigners don't understand this or don't, let me tell you what foreigners do understand. Many of them understand communism. Many of them understand socialism, and they understand that it doesn't work. And Cubans are in that. When they come here, they hate what happened to their country. And when they come here and they see the left in this country doing what they do, they just shake their head. They're like, that's the shit that started in my country. Yeah, I like Cubans. I love Cubans. I think they're great. You know, I don't know. I tell you what, I met a couple guys. I went through inspector school with two guys from Jamaica. They were the funnest guys I've ever met in my life. You know, you never know. You know, I work with some folks from Mexico. They're great. Very nice, very respectful, big family people. So, you know, sometimes foreigners get a bad rap, but the truth is, you know, it's neat to see the robust cultures. It's neat to see how a lot of these countries care more about their family than we do in this country. I think that's crazy. The things people do for their family in Mexico or Cuban would shock you. But they love their family more than anything in the world. And I think we're losing some of that here in this country. Yeah, I mean, if we wanted to do a territory or something, I'd be perfectly fine with that. Only because, like I said, they would appreciate it, and it would actually create a great situation here in South Florida, where a lot of people would be able to return home. Some people would be able to maybe come this way or that way. But I think it would be a net positive for the country. I really do. Canadians, their biggest problem is they're like in the front seat of the stupid train when it comes to all this socialist crap. It's like they're just blindly going down the road to socialism. It's like, don't you know what you're doing? All right, so let's see here. What else do we got, guys? I've been on over 2 hours, and I'm about done. What do you guys got? I think that's all I had for tonight. Oh no, yeah, no, I can hear those stations. I can hear them sometimes with just a piece of wire. If you guys, I showed this earlier for those of you who joined late. We actually have a hurricane guide that's put out by my work, by our TV station, and it's an 80-page guide that tells you every single thing you need to know about hurricanes. And I think it's such a cool thing. And we do this here. And I was asking if anybody else has hazard guides in their neighborhood. Maybe one for earthquakes or one for tornadoes, like if you're in Oklahoma or Kansas City. But yes, we actually publish an 80-page book. And even the advertisements are all storm related. It's really cool. The tooth's doing much better. It is. This side of my mustache is gray, so it makes my mouth look like it's all swollen and crooked, but it's not. I have a little bit of swelling left right here, but it's not too bad. I'm hoping I don't need an antibiotic. I don't think I do, because generally speaking, it wouldn't be getting better every day. But yeah, no, it's doing great. I'm talking normal again. You can't even really tell. Let's see. Yeah, and you know what's funny about Cuba? They've been keeping those cars running down there. And I bet you if we ever started free trade with Cuba, there's people in this country that would buy those cars, which means those people could then afford to buy new cars from America. I mean, it would be wonderful. It would be really cool. Houston stations do it. That's cool. That's cool. That's kind of what I was wondering. Is it something? Because my whole life we've had hurricane guides. When I was a kid, they were like 4 pages long, but it was still important. I used to get the pinup. This one has a pinup map in it. I used to pin up. I had a big cork board in my room, and every year I would pin it up, and I would write everything about the storm on every pin mark. I had these big maps that my mom would order for me. Oh, you don't see a doctor. You don't see doctors anymore. And you know what? It doesn't matter anyway because they don't know you and they don't care. Let me tell you what. I bring my mother to these doctors all the time, right? We sit in the doctor's office, and this woman, the doctor, nice lady, we fill out all the stuff at home. The whole home survey, we fill it all out. We fill out the medication list, we fill out everything. Then we drive to the doctor's office. Then they hand us 7 different sheets of paper and a clipboard, and we have to go fill out, and most of it is the shit that I already filled out at home. So now I'm filling it all out a second time. Then they take us back to a room where we sit for an hour in this room. We just sit there. There's no TV, there's no radio. Couldn't they, if they're going to make you wait for a God blessed hour to see a doctor, put frickin' Fox News in there so I can at least see what's going on in the world. Or put up a movie channel or something. Maybe get HBO, I don't know. Ridiculous. And then when the doctor gets there, or the nurse comes in, and she asks me all those same questions that I filled out at home, and all the same questions that I filled out in the lobby. Then the doctor comes in, and I hear the doctor lift the clipboard out of the pocket on the outside of the door, right? And then she walks in. Hi, Doc. Hi, Mrs. And she looks for the name on the clipboard. That doctor knew not a freaking thing about my mother at that moment in time. She had never read her file. She had never researched her meds. She had never looked at the surgical reports or all the information from the doctor. She never looked at any of the MRIs. She never checked anything. She never did anything. She picked the clipboard up, which had all this shit repeated in it 3 different times. She picks that clipboard up, walks in the room, and doesn't know the first thing about what's going on with my mother. Not the first thing. And then she starts asking the same questions that I filled out at home, that I filled out in the lobby, and that I told the nurse about in the room. And the doctor then starts asking those same questions again. And I finally say something. I'm like, look, if you people would just read what we've already wrote, what we've already typed, what we've already wrote, what we've already told the nurse, you would know. And then she asked my mom, she goes, are you on Babegablam? And my mom's like, what? Are you on Babegablam? What? Are you on Babegablam? What? My mother doesn't know the names of her medications. Jesus. It's on the paper right in front of you. Just look at it. My God. And then it's like, so what's your chief complaint today? It's on the paper. My God, it's all on the clipboard. Why can't they at least look at the clipboard before they walk in the room? So how can that person make sure that she's getting all the right meds and the right treatment for strokes and the right things for this and that, and that we don't have any drugs that are causing any kind of conflicts? How can we do? This doctor doesn't know the first thing. And then she changes a couple of her meds without even reading what med she's on. And I'm like, this is all a racket. It's literally a racket. And 3 minutes later, she walks out. We sit in that same room with no TV, no radio for 15 more minutes. That nurse comes back in again, asks us where our pharmacy is. Same pharmacy we've always had. Same pharmacy we told them. Same pharmacy I put on the form that I filled out on the computer. Same pharmacy that I put on the paper that I filled out in the lobby. Same pharmacy that I told her about when she came in to do the pre-visit interview. And she asks me again, what pharmacy do you use? Now, I'm sorry, that's ridiculous. That's just uncalled for. It's busy work. They've literally got their patients doing busy work, and none of it's necessary. I can't wait till AI takes over medicine. I can't wait when a computer evaluates me. It's going to look at everything. It's going to look at my MRIs. It's going to look at my X-rays. It's going to look at everything. It's going to know. It's going to have the experience of thousands of doctors. I can't wait to be seen by AI. I can't even afford a doctor. Those secret messages we're sending behind enemy lines. Yeah, that whole thing about they got to see you so many times a year to keep prescribing you medications, it's simply just fleecing you out of money. I can't wait. I can't wait. I don't trust doctors. They don't know me. They don't know anything about me when they walk in the room, and they don't care if I live or die when they walk out. You know, the good old country doctor that works out of an old house down by the edge of town is gone. And now you end up with these corporate doctors. I can't believe it. I can't believe it. Every time we go, and we don't ever get to talk to them about things we want to talk to them about. All they care about is getting that next appointment scheduled. Have you noticed? They don't really care much about your meds. They don't really care a whole lot about what's hurting or everything. But they do, they got to figure it out, man. They got to get that appointment made. The number one thing they do when you show up for a doctor's appointment, the number one thing that they have to do is set the appointment again for the next date, because that's how they get paid. Now, and I'm not talking about all nurses and all doctors and all hospitals. Please don't take it that way. I'm speaking in very general terms, but I'm actually giving an anecdotal actual occurrence. And every time we go there, we're going to be going again here in a few months to our general. And it'll be the same thing again. I'm not filling out the pre-interview. I've decided I'm not going to do it. And when I go in there, I'm just going to be very vague and quick on the one I have to fill out in there. And then I'll be more specific with the nurse when she asks me the same questions a third time. Yeah, I don't know about installments. Look, I'm not getting a tooth pulled out because it hurts. It's already over with. Well, I mean, I will admit the healthcare industry has turned me sour to the healthcare industry, unfortunately. Um, yeah, I went to EMT school and I taught the EMT refresher class. That's about as far into medicine as I got. I never became a paramedic. I didn't want to be a paramedic. I did not want to push drugs on people. It was just not my thing. Nope, no thank you. But I was a good EMT. And I ran a team of EMTs, and we ran a lot of calls, and we saved a lot of lives. I was the first person at my department to issue shocks with a semi-automatic external defibrillator, and we got a save. Very rare occurrence, actually. Yeah, I mean, look, here's the thing. At least with AI, like I said, all your records would be considered. There's no way a doctor can make good decisions for me when they know nothing about me. They know nothing about me. When the doctor's almost done, and she's like, okay, well, we changed that med you were worried about, and we changed this one, so everything's good there. And she said, so has everything been okay? And I said, you mean since the stroke? And the doctor looks at me and goes, when was the stroke? And she starts going through the paperwork. She's treating my effing mother, and she doesn't know she just had 2 strokes 3 months earlier. You're issuing medication. You're issuing like blood thinners and shit to a woman that's had 2 strokes. They should have to spend at least 5 minutes reading your chart. My God, we've got this down to the point that the doctors basically spend 2 minutes per patient, 4 minutes per patient, and that includes the entire thing because they don't read your chart anymore. Am I crazy for this? Doctors used to read about us. They would learn about us. They would know us. Doctors would be able to say, oh, look, I'm see here. I remember you had that stroke earlier, and we got to make sure. They don't. It's not like that no more. I can write that she had a stroke, type that she had a stroke, tell the nurse that she had a stroke, and when the doctor walks in, that chick doesn't even know she had a stroke. We've just got to the point where they're literally just going through the motions. I mean, it's all stupid. I don't know. Incognito labs, I'm for it. I'm for it. If the doctors are no longer going to read what's going on, they're not going to ask what's going on. If they're just literally going to do what they do now, which is fly blind and issue prescriptions, then I welcome AI. I welcome AI. And yes, I do still want a human doctor to check it. But I don't think that's going to happen. They don't check it now. Yeah, when you tell them 4 different times while you're there At home, in the lobby, in the office, in the room. You've told them all these times, we're here because she had a stroke and we're doing a follow-up because she's had a stroke. We're doing a follow-up because she's had a stroke. We're doing a follow-up because she had the stroke. And then the doctor walks in with our clipboard and says, so what brings you in today? And look, I have no ill feeling towards our medical people. Nurses are the best. I was hospitalized for 3 or 4 days, and I can't. The nurses were freaking amazing. When my mom was in there, they were amazing. Everybody was just great. My complaints about the healthcare industry are not as much about the care and the nursing. Even the nursing homes were not so bad. I mean, these people really cared about my mom. A lot of them didn't. But I'm talking specifically about the doctor, the interface between you and the doctor. And you know something else that's going on now? She goes to some appointments and we never see a doctor. It's a practitioner. It's a nurse. It's a practitioner. It's a person, a specialist. But they're not a doctor. You don't ever see the doctor. Over and over again, we go to this, we go to that. We don't actually see a doctor at all. But they're being charged. Her insurance company's being charged for the visit to see the doctor. Oh, that's cool, Incognita. Yeah, and even when it comes to like nurse practitioners and stuff, I mean, I think I'm okay with what they're telling me. They know what they're doing, you know. And if I'm going to have a nurse practitioner that knows what's going on, I would rather have that than a doctor that doesn't know what's going on. Now that's 2.5 hours away, University of Miami, but it's good to know. We actually have a decent hospital system here. It's called Lee Memorial Health System, and they've got, I think, 4 hospitals and about 10 other facilities, and they do a pretty good job. There was one time we had her in there. She had a bad infection years ago, and they almost killed her. It was bad, but we were just it was a weird thing. It was a weird situation where they weren't feeding her, and her food would just sit there, and nobody would ever feed her. And anyway, it was a mess. But we got that resolved, and the last 3 or 4 times she's been in the hospital, everybody's been great. Everybody's been great. So it's one of those things. Even the hospitalist doctors actually seem like they give a shit a little more. I had a hospitalist doctor that worked with me on her for a while, and she would come in and we would talk. We would have 20-minute conversations about my mother and her health care and what we got to do, and she would answer all my questions. So, you know, you get some good ones. There's some good ones. She was a hospitalist. You get some good ones out there. Oh, no. That sucks. I just know I got to work. If I put my mother in a hospital 2.5 hours away, that's gonna be really bad. But her getting the best care is obviously more important. But things have just gotten too expensive. Everything in the healthcare industry has gone disposable. I'm not saying I disagree with it, but it's made things a lot more expensive. Salaries continue to go up. That's fine. That we expect that. But the cost of everything else has gone up too. The cost of infrastructure, building new hospitals and stuff, has doubled in 15 years. Doubled! It's crazy. Yep, and yeah, it's tough sometimes in rural. Up in Union County, where my cabin is, up near Heath, we've got Union. We've got Union Hospital there, and it's Blairsville's little hospital. And I've been in there one time. I went in the ER one time there, and it's a nice little hospital. My dad destroyed his leg one time and went in there, and they gave him good care in there. But it's a small hospital. If you go in there with bad burns or bad car accident or whatever, you go in there, you get stabilized, and you get flown to Atlanta. That's what happens. That's true. And of course, if you're busted out, you have no money. They'll treat you right now, but they're not going to give you chemo. They're not going to give you radiation. They're not going to save you from cancer. I mean, that's, if I don't have health insurance. If you don't have health insurance, what do you do? I mean, you just die. And that's something people don't realize. If you don't have health insurance, they're not going to kill that cancer that's growing inside you. You're going to die. It's true. Burn injuries are terrible. They're terrible. Take it from a retired fire chief. They're terrible. Well, Heath, here's a little secret you don't know. Everybody in radio is part-time. I mean, that's a reality that a lot of people don't realize. I work 6 hours a day. I don't work 8 hours a day. I work 6. If they had to put the 52 of us or whatever on, all of us on health insurance, that would be an incredible amount of money. And radio is almost all part-time. Everybody in radio is part-time, with the exception of the program directors. So that's the way it is. Incognita Labs. You have an idea there. If you were to get cancer, you could still get an Obamacare policy. You would need to get that major amount of money. Obamacare policies are very expensive, but you would need to get. But they can't deny you. No one's going to take a cancer patient except Obamacare because they cannot deny you. So you have something there. There really is no career in radio. It's kind of one of those things. You do it because you love it. And I do about 5 other things to make ends meet. Well, Heath, you just probably wouldn't work there. If health insurance is something you have to have, then you would have to work somewhere where you can get full time. I'm one of these people that I would rather work a job that I love. To me, that's the most important thing. I like to love my jobs. I like to have important jobs that I love to do. Hence why I was a fireman and a cop and an emergency manager. I've done all kinds of neat things in my life because I like those kind of jobs. I had health insurance for 20 years. Full health insurance, the best ever. Never used it. I don't think I used it but 3 or 4 times in 20 years. And that's including being blown up in 1992 and lying about that for a long time so I could stay on the line. But I never used it. Now I'm in a part of my life where I could use it. I need it. Not so much. It's not, I wouldn't quite say it's a gypsy lifestyle, but it's on the way to being one. Yeah, it is. A lot of these people come and go. It's not as bad as TV. A lot of the TV anchors and stuff, they come, they work 6 months, they leave. They come, they work a year, they leave. That's kind of the way it is, especially with on-air talent. Radio, yes and no. DJ jobs aren't like that anymore, really. You know, we've got a number of DJs. We've got 2 or 3 other talk shows on different channels and sports talk shows and different things. But, you know, everybody's part-time. That's just the way it is. Well, Canna Club, I hate to say this, but if you want to be a firefighter, it really matters what color you are. I know that sounds terrible, and you guys can say I'm bad, whatever, but that's the truth, okay? Absolute truth. An absolute truth that you have to deal with right now is if you're black, you can be a firefighter anywhere as long as you can pass the test. If you're a woman, you can be a firefighter anywhere as long as you can pass the test and drag the dummy. Okay? If you're white, forget about it. I mean literally forget about it. The way they do it is they run multiple lists. And in these big cities, these big blue cities, they run multiple lists. Miami does it. And what they do is they run a white male list, a black male list, an other male list, which is anybody other than white or black. That picks up your Hispanics and Middle Easterners and things like that. And then you have a 4th one, which is females. So what they do is everybody takes the same test. Everybody. And you get a score. And your score is put next to your name, and then your names are put in order by score. So in other words, the highest scoring white male is on top of the white male list, and the lowest scoring white male is on the bottom of the white male list. That's how it works for all 4 lists, okay? So who gets the jobs? Well, here's how they do it. They had 1,000 people apply. They're only taking 25 applicants right now, okay? So of the 1,000 people that applied, only 500 of them made it through the testing, okay? Those 500 people are now ordered in those 4 lists. Here's where the effed up part happens. There's only 5 or 6 guys on the black list. There's only 10 guys on the other male list. And there's only 10 females on the female list. Some of them didn't score well at all. On all 3 lists, a lot of them didn't score well at all. But they made the list. They just barely made it. Now, the white male list, there's 463 people on that list. 463. So, it's now time to hire our firefighters. So they go up and they say, boom, take number 1 from list 1, number 1 from list 2, number 1 from list 3, and number 1 from list 4. That's our first 4. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, on up to whatever the number is they need. They hired all the black people that applied and passed the test. They hired all the Hispanic people that applied and took the test and passed the test. They hired all the women that applied and took the test and passed the test. They only took 7 or 8 white guys, which left 450 white guys not getting the job. In what world is that fair? I could never have worked at a big department. You either have to know somebody, or you have to be ethnic, or you have to be a female. You have to have a vagina, because apparently that's important somehow. So when you have that kind of system in place, and it's been in place for 35 years, when you have a system like that in place, you do get a diverse department. You get a lot of black folks, a lot of Hispanic folks, a lot of Caribbean Islanders. You get a lot of women. You get a lot of white guys. You get a great mix of people. But here's the problem. You got the black guy that scored the lowest and still passed. He's at your station now. And you picked up a Hispanic guy. He was the lowest Hispanic guy. He scored a 70 on the test. All right? He wasn't good at all. Now, the white guy that we picked up at our station, he was the cream of the crop. He had to be 459 out of 470 in order to get the job. So the white guys that got the jobs all scored 100% on the test. But the black guys, the Hispanic guys, and the women that took the tests scored all over the place. Because they took all of them. Anybody that passed. So what ends up happening is you lower the standards of the entire department. Because you're taking people not because they're the most qualified, not because they're the strongest, not because they're the fastest. You took them because they were black. You took them because they were Hispanic. You took them because they had a vagina. That can't work. Well, that's what we've been doing. Affirmative action has become so out of balance right now, so incredibly out of balance right now, that many white men don't even bother trying to be firemen anymore. It's just, why bother? You have to be the top 3 percentile of the white men in order to get a job. Or any black guy, or any Hispanic guy, or anyone with a vagina. It's crazy. And yet this goes on every day. It goes on every day. And I'm not racist for bringing attention to it. What's racist is what they're doing. What's racist is how they're treating white people. That's coming, Canna Club. I'm telling you guys, that's coming. It won't be long before they'll have their own list.
MMIWG2SLGBTQQIA+.
List. That'll be their list. I'm questioning I get to be on that list. Where does this end? Yeah, when they asked the lesbian deputy fire chief of the LA Fire Department, they asked her, they said, when you show up with an engine company full of women, are you going to be able to pull some 300-pound man out of a fire? And her response was, maybe that guy shouldn't be in a fire. No, it was not an abscess. No infection. No, it was a hot nerve. But it was a very big hot nerve. Let me just put it that way. And it caused a lot of swelling in my mouth, but it's going away. For 3 days now, the pain's getting better and better each day. There's hardly none today at all. And the swelling's going down each day. So I don't think it's infected. If I have to go this week, I've got the money to go get antibiotics. I will. We'll see how it is in the morning. I think by morning it'll be even better. Oh, God. Yeah, it's not as bad as it looks. Like I said, this part of my mustache is gray, so it makes it look weird. But I really am, it's not as swollen as it looks. Let me just put it that way. It is a little swollen, though. But it's not as swollen as it looks.
MMIWG2SLGBTQQIA+.
Mama hit that button, not me. Mama, you hit the gay button. Did you know that? You hit the what is it? MMIWG2S LGBTQIAQQIA plus plus something. That's another thing. I've run no temperature. And I've had no drainage. So I'm relatively sure it's not infected. By now, I would be getting drainage. By now, I would be in excruciating pain. And by now, it would be hot to the touch. It's not. Yeah, there's a lot of different things I think I would have if it was an abscess tooth. No, Heath. That's a real clip. That's a woman in Canada, from the government in Canada, and she came out and she was talking about issues involving MMIWG2LS LGBTIAQQIA plus 2S1 plus 3PO. And she actually said that. That's what she called it. Because they were adding the MM at the beginning, because the second M represents murdered women. Okay? So now when you say MMIWG2SLGBTQIAQQ2S plus, when you say all that, you're actually one of the groups you're referring to is women who have been murdered. Yeah, I did 2 or 3 days ago, had some pain up here in my lower face, but never radiating to my ear. No, and never really affecting my nose or anything. No, I think I'm okay. I really do. I was an EMT for 20 years. That doesn't really teach you how to be a doctor, though. But I know, I know if I get one sign of infection, I'm going in. Yeah, they're making it harder to get it. That's one of the first things I'll do is I'll see if I can get some. What is it? Baxis. I can't remember the name of it. I can usually get one over at Fruitrals for cows, and then I just redose that for humans. That's what I did the last couple of times. That is true. You know, at the fire department and at the police department, the sheriff's department, everywhere I've worked in government, you see people. You're having a great day. Okay, you're at work. You're having a normal day. Everybody's fine. Everything's great. But then you get a call, and when you arrive, you are arriving at someone else's worst day of their life. Their house is on fire. Their child is sick. Their mother is injured from a fall, and this is the worst day of their life. And one of the things we used to be big about back then was compassion. Just, you got to be compassionate. A lot of times when professionals are doing their work, they seem like assholes. It's true, but they're not. They're doing their work. It just has to be that way. But I used to teach my guys, be compassionate, be understanding, be a listener. Once the emergency's over, be there for these people. They're having the worst day of their life. You know, right now your house catches on fire. They come and spray water all over the inside of your house. They pack up and they leave. That's it. We used to actually stay for hours, ventilating the house, drying it out, working with the people to save their things. Firemen don't do that anymore. It's a lost thing. They don't give a shit anymore about the people they protect. It's very different back then. We had 11 philanthropic activities that we did. I spearheaded 9. I was in charge of 9 of the 11. And they don't do any of them anymore. Those rich union assholes, they sit in the chair and watch TV until the alarm bell goes off. That's all they do nowadays. Firemen have changed. It used to be all about the community. It used to be all about the people. We used to, every week or two, we were going to some event. We were going to teach kids down at the school. We were going to every you know, we every Easter, every Christmas, every Halloween, every Thanksgiving, every New Year's, we had something going on always with our community. They don't do it no more. Union firefighters now. That's not our job, man. Not our job. We don't even live here. We live in the other part of town. We drive here for this job. This isn't our community. We don't give a shit about this community. We worked very closely with Toys for Tots. In fact, we would collect for Toys for Tots, and then as it got closer to Christmas, Toys for Tots would help us out if we needed it. We worked with Toys for Tots quite a bit. It's a Marine Corps program, great program. Yeah, I mean, I can still remember when the firemen came to my grade school. They took us to Iona Station 1 one time. That station is still there. I was a kid. I can still remember hearing them wind up the siren, and we blew a little bit of foam out of the hose. It was pretty cool. Nurses love firemen. Yeah, none of them loved me that much, but that's all right. They loved the pretty guys. Yeah. We used to get to know everybody. All the ER nurses, all the ambulance crews, the deputies that worked our zones. We used to get to know everybody because you're always going to calls with them. No, I'm getting ready to sign off. You're late. I only go from 9 to 11 usually. We're almost an hour later than normal. All right, guys, last call. Anything else for the chat room? Let me know. Let me know if there's anything else. ER crews are. There's special folks in there. They really are. I did Canna Club. It was a long time ago. I retired from the fire service 22 years ago or something. It's been a long, long time. I have 15 years in it, the broadcast company I work at. So I'm technically over halfway through my second career. I think he's talking to him. I see people sitting out in front of my house. I'm like, what are you doing? Yeah, I can do that. Give me just a second. I wish you could watch us on TV, but that's just local. I don't think it goes out over streaming. Kind of sucks. Okay, to listen to my show, Trey Radel and I's show. There's the link. My house is very tiny. Here we go. I have 2 of them. Which one are you talking about? And then if you want to go back and listen to our previous shows, you would do that at this link. There you go. Lance. I don't even know anybody named Lance. Isn't that one of those movie names that nobody really actually has? I love it. Oh, now it's my neighbor that has the boat. My neighbors don't have any boats. Just so you know, I'm in Florida, but not everybody in Florida has a boat. In fact, I don't think anybody on my street here has a boat. We're a little further inland, and there's no canals around here, and yeah, boats are not a big thing in this neighborhood. So, Patricia, is that Lance's boyfriend? Are they married, Lance? I haven't told him any personal stuff, and he hasn't hit on anything yet, so he thinks he's got something figured out. Why would someone even do that? Why would someone want someone to feel like they've been compromised in some way? Why would someone do that? It takes a sick individual to get derive some kind of pleasure out of making other people feel uncomfortable or feel exposed like that. That's just terrible, dude. Seriously. You should get a life. Look, I've never owned a boat, and I've been at this address here for about 15 years, 16 years, 14 and a half. As I was working at the place a while, not very long before I got this place. So yeah, I've had this place about 15 years, and I've never had a boat. I'm not a mariner. I don't like the whole boat thing. A trans-femicide state of America. They are so nuts up there. These blue states are so ignorant. The stupid shit that they do. Don't they realize that if you want to be taken seriously, quit acting like a frickin' nut? You in fact did say I had a boat. You said there was a boat sitting in my yard last time you were in. Matter of fact, you said it several times, that there was a boat in my yard. My boat, you said. Yeah. I mean, I understand you're taking a guess. I live in Florida. I live 15 miles from the coast. I gotta have a boat, right? No, wrong. Doesn't work that way. Yeah, at least hit the like button. Do something worth something. Yeah. But as far as the rest of it, not so much. I have a U-boat. Maybe that's what it is. It's a U-boat. Lead farmer. That's probably is who it is. All right, everybody. We're going to go ahead and going to call this thing. I'll see you guys next time. You guys do. I want you guys to be back tomorrow night. We'll be back same time, same channel, and you guys make sure that you're here. If nothing else, just make sure that you're here. We'll have a fun time tomorrow night. I've got a few other topics I've already got picked out for the next couple days, so we'll get to that stuff. That's an interesting fact. Pangolangolier. I'm wondering if that's true. I haven't heard that. Yeah, Trump's also the first president that says he doesn't have any problem with gays getting married and stuff like that. But the left just hates him. They call him a homophobe. Truthfully, he's one of the he's probably the least homophobic president we've ever had. Barack Obama said that a marriage should be between a man and a woman, no exception. Joe Biden, for years, would say that. He was staunchly against it. In fact, the whole Democrat Party was against it at one time. Bill Clinton came out against it. Not for it. Not a good idea. And so, it's funny that the guy they're calling a homophobe is actually cooler with it than anybody else has been. Yeah, I have no problem with it. You can marry whoever you want. I don't care. I think we need to... I'm a little concerned with how it's being dealt with children and stuff. But that being said, I'm okay. I mean, I think people should be able to live the way they want to live as long as it doesn't victimize others. And that's the bottom line. Yeah, Trump's numbers have come up quite a bit. Gas prices are coming down. We're resolving the issue with Iran. Peace comes to the Middle East. Gas prices go back down near $2. Midterms should go well. I think Trump's numbers are great. If you look at like where Barack Obama was at this point in his presidency, or where Bill Clinton was at this point in his presidency, or even either of the Bushes, where they were at this point in their presidency, the numbers are comparable. I mean, it is what it is. The left wants you to think that the numbers are terrible, but they're not. They're really not. I have always said about gay stuff, do whatever you want, don't get any on me. That has been my response since I was a firefighter 20 years ago. Do whatever you want, do whoever you want, don't get any on me. That's all I'm asking. Yes, I agree. The SAVE Act is very important. Even if we have to do the filibuster thing, we've got to get that SAVE Act in. The Democrats are going to fight it tooth and nail. They know that if that SAVE Act gets in there, that it's going to be exponentially more difficult for them to fix or win elections. My only problem with LGBTQIA2S+, that was the short version. My only problem is when they ram it down my throat culturally. I don't need it. I have my culture. You have yours. It kind of meshes. It's fine. Why does everything have to be about gay now? I'm sick of hearing it. You know, I got gay fatigue and I'm not even gay. I don't understand it. Why is it so important that everybody wears certain jerseys for the gay people? Everybody shows up at rallies for the gay people. They wear ribbons for the gay people. Nobody's wearing ribbons for the straight guy. They walk into a meeting. Hi, my name's Bob. I'm gay, and I like to do guys, and I like to wear tight clothes, and what is wrong with these people? What if I walked into my HR meeting next week and I said, hello, everybody, my name's Ian. I'm straight. I bang chicks every chance I get. Would that be appropriate? What does your sexuality have to do with anything? That should be between you and the thing you're sucking on. It should have nothing to do with anything else. That's my problem with gay. My problem is not the gay people. I'm fine with the gay people. My problem is I'm not changing my lifestyle. And I don't expect you to change yours. We can cohabitate. It's fine. We can live on the same street. It's okay. Yeah, probably. Thune. Yeah, there's a few holdouts on the SAVE Act. I think we're going to get it, but it's going to be difficult. They're fighting it tooth and frickin' nail, dude. Seriously, they're fighting this like crazy town. So yeah, I've had that too. If you tell them you're straight, they immediately assume you're some kind of homophobe or something. It's like, I'm not a homophobe. I don't care what you guys do. I don't want you doing it in front of kids. That's all. It's simple rules, really simple stuff, you know. See, it's not enough to support gay people. It's not enough to be accepting of gay people. Then they start trying to transition 12-year-olds and chop their breasts off. Why does it always have to be taken to the damn extreme? Why can't we just be happy with our lifestyle? No, we gotta lop that dick off. We gotta cut them tits off. We gotta do a bunch of chemical bullshit. We gotta do testosterone and estrogen. It's sick. I think any form of transition before age 18 should be abuse. Any form. Then when you're 18, I say go to England and get that lop a dick off of me surgery. Get it. Or get the addictomy, whichever you like. Just get it. I'm all for it. As long as I don't have to pay for it. I'm all for it. But until you turn 18, I am vehemently opposed to it. How can you expect children to make a decision like, should I chop my breasts off at 14? And then turn around and tell me they can't own a gun till they're 23. They decided to chop their breasts off at 14. But they got to be 21 to drink a beer. They can take chemical compounds when they're 14 years old that will make them sterile. Without their parents. How's that not abuse? So that's where my problem with the gay community is. It's not the gay community. It's this trans thing. It's all this trans, it's got to be mainstream. Gay was mainstream. Then lesbian became mainstream. Then bisexual became mainstream. Well, they're having a little bit of a problem making this trans stuff mainstream. Because many people, I'm fine with bisexuals. Must be great, just reach down there and whatever you find's perfectly good. Okay, it sounds kind of convenient, if you know what I mean. But seriously, okay? Each time something new comes out, we're fine with it. But then we get to transsexuals. Now we got people doing this and that. Okay, they're adults. It's fine. But they're talking 12-year-olds into doing it. So that taints the whole thing, in my opinion. It makes me question the whole thing. Read the stories of these detransitioners. Read the horror stories from a woman who lost her breasts, not because of cancer, not because of a bad car accident. She lost her breasts because she was a confused child. And deplorable adults enabled her. And now she has no breasts. the one I read just the other day, they sewed her nipples back on and they died. I, dude, this is sick. Okay, I'm sorry. Excuse me. They took her breasts off. They sewed her little nipples back on so she would have little boy nipples. And they died. So she has nothing. She has a flat chest with no nipples at all. And she has to live with that the rest of her life. And now, she wants to be a girl. She wants to put makeup on. She wants to be a girl. And that was taken from her. It was taken from her by these people, these sick, sick bastards that talk these children into this disfiguring, abusive procedures. And so, I support LGBTQ plus as far as they don't victimize or change my culture. That's the bottom line. And I think I'm going to leave it right there. I was emotional when I read this story about this girl. She's 23 now. And I was like, if they did that to my daughter, I would shoot somebody. I would spend the rest in jail. And I don't even have kids. I can only imagine how people that really have kids feel. What if you found out that your daughter had something like that done, or was getting testosterone, or was getting estrogen treatment? Because some counselor at school hooked them up with some doctor at the clinic. And they did it without telling you. I'm surprised more people aren't ending up dead. And parents should not be allowed to transition kids either. I don't understand it. I don't. What do you think, Mama? Is this thing on? Testing? Yeah, forget about it. When the parents are talking them into it, that's a crime, in my opinion. Because you as a parent don't know what sex that kid was going to want to be when they're 25 any more than they do. The truth is, most children have some bout with sexual dysphoria of some kind growing up. They hit puberty. It happens to a lot of little girls. They want to be tomboys. There's a few guys here and there, boys that they play with dolls for a few years. No big deal. It doesn't mean they're gay. It doesn't mean they're transsexual. It doesn't. What it means is they're just a little confused. They're having a childhood. They're growing up. We can't just act on that kind of shit and change their life irreversibly for the rest of their life. Yeah, government knows best. Just ask the liberals. Yeah, tell me about it. Yeah, they even raise money. They'll raise money to transition these kids without their parents even knowing. Well, you know what? That's see, you get into some weird stuff here. What about in California, where they say one of the CEOs on every company must be a woman? One CEO on every company must be a woman. I walk in tomorrow morning. I apply as a woman. I dressed in a dress. I'm identifying as a woman. Don't mind the twig and berries. Now what? How do you deal with that? You forced companies into taking women as CEOs, whether they're qualified or not. You forced them to take one woman as a CEO in their company. And on the other hand, if someone identifies as a woman, you have to respect that. So why can't I just walk in and apply for the CEO job and tell them that I'm a woman today? Just ignore the bulge. I'm a woman today. And so I can fit your quota for the one woman that you need because I'm identifying as a woman. Now, it gets even more complicated. I'm identifying today as black. Is that okay? Is that okay? Is it not okay? It's not okay. How can it not be okay? I can identify as a cat. I can identify as a dinosaur, right? Why can't I identify as an African American male? Well, that brings up a whole new problem. Now I walk in, I start applying for jobs. I put down that I'm African American. Why did you put down you're African American? You're obviously a honky. Yeah, well, I put down African American because that's what I'm identifying as today. Matter of fact, I'm identifying as a female African American today. Yeah. Yeah. White pecker and all. How does that work? They've created these conundrums the non sequiturs. They've created all these non sequiturs and they don't know what to do with them. Because you can identify as whoever you want. But then they're trying to create all these jobs and requirements and all based on what you are. Well, if it's based on what I am, can I identify as something different to qualify for this? Why can't I identify as homeless and get food stamps? Maybe I can identify as an unemployed man when I'm not employed. Maybe I can, I mean, where does this end? Where does it end? What if an illegal alien says, I identify as a citizen? Where does this end? It's loopy. Hey, Texas Mouse, what's up, buddy? Yeah, I identify as a millionaire, so hand it over. I get the same thing. I call everybody dude. I call my mom dude. I call Grok dude. I call Cat at work dude. I call everybody dude. So if you're going to hang out with me, get used to being called dude. Everybody's dude. Dude is not a gender. Dude just means dude. Dude. It could be a noun, or it could be a verb. You know, it could be like, hey, who did that? Oh, that dude. See? Or you could, oh man, he came and duded it all up for me. See? Or, hey, oh man, dude time. So it can be used for almost anything. Dude. Well, these storms are winding down. Finally, I don't see any more tornado warnings anywhere. We're down to just severe thunderstorm warnings at this point now. Starting to wind down, like I am. I haven't ate dinner tonight. I still got to eat dinner. That's right. Yeah, I mean, if people can identify as whatever sex they want, and you're going to tell me I can't use dude? No way, dude. 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 See, that's an exclamation. Dude. You guys know what I mean. If I walk in and I go, oh, dude. Or maybe I walk in and go, dude. Or I walk in and I say, dude. Seriously? See, it's all different things, but it's the same word. Yeah, Taco Bell. I could use 2 more enchiladas right now, but I'm not driving to Taco Bell again. That was a one-time thing. I don't normally go driving out for food. I've got a fridge full of food here. But I talked about those enchiladas, and I had to have one, and I'm a spoiled little bitch, so I went down and got them. I don't care. Oh, I ran for the border. Bong! I had the Taco Bell on my soundboard somewhere, but I don't know where it's... Oh, there it is. I found it. It's here. There we go. I should have had that yesterday. Yes, get the new enchilado. From Taco Bell. That's right. All right. Oh, there we go. Look, women and men are the same race. This whole gendering thing is ridiculous. The whole thing's just dumb. All right, guys. Well, this has been an emotional show for sure. If you didn't see it, I told a story back at the 1 hour mark of a profound story. A story that I never thought I would tell in public, but I did. I love you guys. You're my guys. You're my supporters, and I told the story tonight of when I lost my faith. Of course, I got it back, but it's an important story. It took a long time for me to sort out all that. And if you're interested, it's right before the 1 hour mark in the show. Go back and check it out because it explains a lot about me and kind of what happened. I had some really messed up calls when I was a firefighter. We covered State Road 31. I've been the calls where there was 12 trauma patients on one call. And we are 30 minutes from the nearest EMS station. We're at a place called Burmont Crossing. State Road 31, County Road 74. And they got a light there now. As a matter of fact, they just took that out and put a roundabout in. Normally not a roundabout fan, but this is a single lane by single lane roundabout, which those are okay. And it does make it a safer intersection. Most roundabouts I bitch about. This one I do not. This intersection, on the same road as the wreck I talked about earlier, but this same intersection was the scene of just some of the most horrific accidents. It's been fixed now. It doesn't happen anymore. But at the time, we would get a call. And the department that covered that area back then was a volunteer department called East Charlotte Volunteers. And they had us as first due because they only had 6 or 8 volunteers. And then their county would send a couple trucks down from the county, but they were 40 minutes away. So we would arrive on these calls, and these people had been laying in the road for 25 minutes when we got there. 27 minutes they'd been laying in the road, 30 minutes, depending on how long the call came in. Cell phones didn't work out there at the time. There was one wreck, they waited for an hour for help because someone had to drive to the payphone at the Circle K that was 24 miles away to call 911 and report the accident while people are laying in the road. It's not like it is today back then. This was 30 years ago. It was a very different time. I don't like black olives that much. I'll eat green olives, but I'm not much on black olives. I never cared about those 3 little olives they put on top, but I miss them just because I'm nostalgic. You know what they used to do? My dad got them with onions and I got them without onions. And so what they would do is they would make like a pattern out of the olives. And they would say, the olives in the square are yours with no onions. That's how nice they were back then. And then my dad's would be in a long line and we would know those were the onions. Remember back when people gave a shit about people? God, I miss those days. Anyway. Yes. We're only 3% DNA difference from a horse. Yeah, black folks, white folks, Hispanic folks, we all have almost identical DNA. It's almost identical. The whole thing's stupid. Males and females have almost identical DNA. There's very little nuance changes that make us different. That's why when people start like that race is an inferior race, or that group or that race or that sex, screw you. We are all almost identical, believe it or not. Almost identical. Okay, I'll take your word for that, Incognita. Uh, yes, this has been a long program. 3 hours and 14 minutes, and I only planned on doing 2 hours tonight. So, yeah, you guys you got your money's worth tonight for sure. Yeah, and notice all the storm chasers have gone home. You guys noticed that? I'm just sitting here looking. All the storm chasers have gone home. They are all gone home for the night. Oh, boy. All right, there we go. Let's see here. Oh, thank you. I appreciate that. Let's see. Yeah, there's an early time in development where it could go either way. You could be male or female. And you know, you hear a lot of these transitioners and a lot of these trans people talking about hermaphrodites and talking about people that are born with confused gender traits and things like that. Do you guys realize it's like 1 in 10,000 or something? It's pretty rare to have gender dysphoria or to have some kind of very messed up genitals to where you don't know what sex they are. That generally doesn't happen, but it does every now and then. But it's very rare. We're almost at 70 likes. Can you guys give us the last 7 likes? I'd really appreciate it. And then I'm going to sign off. I've had it. I'm done. I'm good. We'll see you guys later. I hope everybody has a good night out there. I'll play my opener tonight before the closer for those that haven't seen the opener of the show. A lot of people don't see the opener because it plays before they come in. And I'm really proud of this opener. It's got my cats in it, and it's a really cool opener. It was all made with Google AI, the Google AI Studio. I made a video making program that doesn't have any of the limits that all the other video making programs have. And that's how I made this. By the way, this video, my ender and my opening and all that I've made over the last month or so has cost me about $120 in AI credits, just so you guys know. It's not free. But video takes a lot more than pictures. You can do pictures all month and it's like $10. But when you start getting into videos, there is some money involved. I hit my $100 limit that I put on there, and I had to go move it up a little bit so I could keep going. So, you know, you can spend some money on there, but it's not that much. But I'm just warning you guys, if you're on a paid service like Google AI Studio and you're making videos, make sure you set that threshold that will notify you before you go over a certain amount. My buddy at work didn't do that and ended up with a $500 bill. I think he got him to take some of it off, but yes, Incognita, I'm looking into that now, but it's still a little bit over my head. But I eventually plan to run my own AI here, when I can. The parts have gotten very expensive, but something's happening right now. All the companies are making the parts. See, that's what happens. It's capitalism, supply and demand. What happens is all of a sudden there's this huge demand for memory chips and a huge demand for big video cards. Why? Because a lot of AI runs within a video card. I know that's crazy, but that's the best and quickest way to do it. And so a lot of people are buying very large video cards and they're stacking them in their systems so that they can process more and more and more data faster. And video cards have become the most expensive thing to buy for a computer now. Memory, number 2. And so all these things that you need to build an AI machine have gone sky high. But that was months ago. Now these companies, they're all pumping out shit as fast as they can make it right now. Because if they can make it now and get it out on the shelf, it will get sold. So they're making it as quick as they can. Eventually that will lead to our advantage. What's going to happen is in the next year, maybe 2, the price of all this shit is going to go way down. And the reason is because all the people that make these specific kinds of memory chips and specific kinds of cards are going to be making what we need, and they're going to be making it over time, and we will have a flushed market, and eventually those prices will go down. I would be willing to talk about that. That sounds interesting. Yeah. Yeah, it's amazing what these computers are going for. I have a bunch of systems here, but my little thin clients, there's nothing there to do it. I'm gonna build something. Yeah, it's ridiculous. But at supply and demand, the good news is that when the demand goes up, the supply will reciprocate. It will come up as well. And as it comes up, the prices will normalize. We just have to give this a little bit of time. I'm not going to build it this year. It may be next year. But I'm building one. I just have to time it right. I'm not going to spend thousands of dollars. So, you know, I'm not going to spend every penny I get trying to make something. I'm going to give it a year. I think in a year these parts are going to be being produced at a rate much higher than they're being produced today. There you go. Yep. Yeah, I'm running a 12-core Ryzen 9 to run this show, and I'm running it on. I got a big special my sound card. It's an EVEA sound card, and it has 5 outputs. So I've got 5 screens on the computer. All right, guys. I'm going to let you go. Like I said, I'm going to play the opener first. If you haven't seen it, check it out. Let me know what you think. I'm watching the chat. And we'll see you guys next time. All right, I'm gonna let you go. I'm done tonight. I'm a little frazzled. It's I've been on 3 hours and 21 minutes, and I've been monologuing the whole time. I like the Ryzen chips. Ryzen. I know there's 50 ways to pronounce it. Whatever. I like those the best. And I got a Ryzen 9 in this one, and I got a Ryzen 9 in that one down there. Everything else is just regular desktop units. All right, everybody. Have a good one out there. This is Starship Adventures. This has been the Sights and Sounds of Earth. I want to thank everybody for coming in and supporting the channel tonight, and even the trolls. Thank you for being there and helping us out and get the word out about what we're doing here. And let everybody know that we're on every night from 9 to 11 and a lot of times later than that. And we discuss all kinds of great topics here, so have people check us out. All right, guys, we'll catch you later. My name's Ian. This is Starship Adventures, the Sights and Sounds of Earth. 7-3s, everybody. 7-3s. We'll see you again tonight. It's after midnight, so tonight at 9 p.m. Eastern, right here on the Sights and Sounds of Earth. Good night, everybody. This is the YouTube channel Starship Adventures, broadcasting live from Starship Studios in North Fort Myers, Florida, in the United States of America. We thank you for joining us this evening for another broadcast of the Sights and Sounds of Earth, covering every breaking news story across this troubled planet of ours. We brought you the raw, unfiltered pulse of the world in real time through our unique multi-screen format, broadcasting in high definition worldwide via fiber optic connection. Starship Adventures, a new kind of YouTube content. To our regular viewers, our loyal crew members, our amazing moderators, and everyone who tunes in each night at 9 p.m. Eastern, we thank you. Your support keeps this independent voice alive and well. We'll be back tomorrow evening at 9 p.m. Eastern with another live edition of the Sights and Sounds of Earth, right here on Starship Adventures. Until then, stay safe, stay informed, and may God bless you and these United States of America. This is Starship Adventures, and this concludes our broadcast day. Good night, America, and around the world. Kilo Oscar 4, Echo Foxtrot Sierra, signing off. QSY, 7-3s, everyone, 7-3s.